Princess Alira lived in a grand palace. Her bed had golden sheets. Her shoes were made of silk. Her hair was brushed by maids every morning. She had more dresses than she could count. But still, she was not happy.
People looked at her and whispered,
"She is too fat for a princess," they said. "No prince will ever marry her." She heard the whispers. She saw the looks. Every word was a cut. Every look was a knife. Her heart was heavy. Her smile was fake. Alira loved to read. She read stories about brave queens and kind kings. But her world was not like the books. Her father, King Harald, ruled with power, not kindness. He only cared about war, gold, and pride. He never said, "You are beautiful." He never said, "I'm proud of you." He only said, "Sit up straight. Eat less. Smile more." Alira obeyed. She tried to be small. She tried to be quiet. But nothing was enough. One day, the king called her to the throne room. He stood tall in his red robe. His crown sparkled in the light. His face was cold. "I have made a decision," he said. Alira looked at him. Her hands shook. "You will marry a man named Kale." Alira blinked. "Who?" "Kale. A warrior. He saved this kingdom. I owe him a favor. He asked for you." Alira felt sick. She could not breathe. "You were giving me away?" she asked. The king didn't look at her. "You are lucky. No prince wants you." "But he does." Tears filled her eyes. She ran from the room. She went to her chambers. She threw her mirror on the floor. It broke into pieces. "I am not a gift," she said to herself. "I am not a prize." But no one heard her. The next day, she was given a small box. "Pack what you need," the maid said. "Your carriage leaves at sunrise." She packed her books, her favorite shawl, a small necklace from her mother. She left behind the gold, the crowns, the diamonds. They had never made her happy. The road to Kale's village was long. It was hot. Dust flew into the carriage. Alira did not speak. Her eyes stared at the window, but her mind was far away. She had never met Kale. All she knew was that he had been a slave once, then a warrior, then a hero, and now, her husband? When the carriage stopped, Alira stepped out. The village was small. No walls, no towers, just homes made of stone and wood. Chickens ran free. Children laughed. It was loud, dirty, and full of life. Kale stood by a gate. He wore simple clothes. His arms were strong. His face was serious, but his eyes were soft. He bowed. "Welcome, princess." Alira did not speak. Kale led her to his home. It was small but clean. The floor was wood. The air smelled like fresh bread and wildflowers. He showed her the bedroom. "It's yours," he said. "You don't need to share if you don't want to." That night, Alira sat on the bed and cried.
No maids, no soft pillows, no father, no love, only silence. Kale did not come to her. He stayed quiet. He gave her space. In the morning, he made bread and tea. He knocked on her door. "Are you hungry?" he asked. She did not reply. He left the plate by the door. 3 days passed. Alira did not leave the room. She ate the food. She read her books, but her heart was heavy. On the 4th day, she stepped outside. The sun was warm. The air smelled of pine and ash. She saw Kale working. He carried stones. He helped an old woman lift a barrel. People greeted him with smiles. "Thank you, Kale." "Good to see you, Kale." Children ran to him. He lifted them in the air and spun them. They laughed with joy. He laughed too. Alira stood still. He saw her. He walked to her. "Would you like to walk with me?" She nodded. They walked in silence. Through the market, past the river, into the trees. Kale stopped. "You're not what I expected," he said. She looked at him. "What did you expect?" He smiled. "A cold princess. But you're warm." I can feel it. You are full of fire. She looked down. Why did you ask to marry me? I saw you once, he said. Years ago. You were 12. I was a servant. You dropped your book. No one picked it up. I did. You said, "Thank you." You looked at me like I mattered. She remembered that day. She had forgotten his face, but not the kindness. You saved this kingdom, she said. I did, he replied. But I don't want gold. I want a life. A real life. With someone real. Illyria looked at the trees. They were tall, strong, unmoved by storms. She wanted to be like that. I don't know if I can love, she said. Then just stay, he replied. That's enough. Illyria stayed. She helped in the house. She swept the floor. She washed her own clothes. She had never done that before. Her hands hurt. Her back ached. But she felt proud. Cale did not command her. He asked, he offered, he waited. They ate together. They sat by the fire. They spoke little, but it was enough. One day, a child came running. Cale, come quick. The roof is falling. Cale ran. Illyria followed. A small home had collapsed. An old man sat on the ground. His leg was broken. Cale lifted him gently. Illyria tore her dress to make a bandage. The man smiled at her. Thank you, my queen. She froze. No one had ever called her that with love. That night, Cale looked at her. You helped him. You were strong. No, she said. I was just me. And that, he said, is enough. More days passed. Then weeks. Illyria wrote letters to herself. She wrote stories. She wrote poems. She had stopped writing in the palace. Now the words came back. She read to the children. They sat on her lap. They touched her hair. They called her Mama Illyria. She laughed again. Cale built a bench outside. He sat with her under the stars. You are changing, he said. I'm becoming myself, she replied. One morning, a rider came. He brought a letter from the king. Illyria read it. Her hands shook. King Harold was sick, very sick. He asked her to come back. He wanted to see her before the end. Cale looked at her. You don't have to go. I do, she said. He may be cruel, but he is still my father. She rode alone. The palace looked smaller now. The gold did not shine the same. The halls felt cold. She entered the king's room. He lay in bed, pale and thin. You came, he whispered. I did, she said. I was wrong, he said. I gave you away like a coin, but you became a queen. She said nothing. Forgive me. She did not speak. She held his hand. He wept, and then he slept, and in the morning, he was gone. Illyria did not stay. She took the crown, but not the throne. She returned to the village. She placed the crown on a table. I don't need this, she said. Cale took her hands. But they need you. She looked outside. People gathered. They had flowers, food, music. They did not bow. They danced. They made her a new crown. Not gold, but flowers and leaves. They placed it on her head. You are our queen, they said. Tears filled her eyes. She looked at Cale. I love you, she said. He smiled. I know. They married under the sun. No kings, no nobles. Just people. Real people. Her people. They lived in the same small house. But they built schools, a library, a garden for healing herbs, a new hall for music and stories. Illyria taught the girls to read and write. She taught them that their minds mattered. Cale trained the boys to build, to lead, to protect not with fear, but with care. They ruled with love. Many years passed. They grew older, slower, but never bitter. Children became leaders. The village became a town, then a small city. People from other lands came to visit. They heard about the warrior and the princess, now queen and king. Illyria wrote a book, her story. She called it The Girl the World Forgot. It became known in many lands. Girls read it and cried. Boys read it and listened. Illyria and Cale had no children of their own, but they were parents to many hearts. One night, Illyria sat under a tree. The stars were bright. She held Cale's hand. We did good, she said. He nodded. We loved well. She closed her eyes. He kissed her forehead, and in the quiet of the night, with the scent of flowers and the sound of leaves, they rested, together, forever. After Illyria and Cale passed, the village mourned. The streets were quiet. People lit candles. Children drew pictures of them. Flowers were placed in front of their home. No one spoke loud, but all hearts were full. The village council met. They asked, Who will lead now? An old woman stood. They taught us to lead ourselves, she said. We don't need to wait for a crown. So they voted. They shared duties. Teachers became leaders. Farmers spoke at meetings. Children were taught to listen before speaking. Illyria's garden became a place of learning. Her library was filled with new books. Her bench under the tree was never empty. The people remembered her words. Be kind, be strong, be seen. Kale's tools were placed in the school. His sword was melted down and turned into bells for the children's games. This sword brought war, the blacksmith said, but now it brings joy. Each year, the village held a day of light. No work, no noise, just candles, music, and stories. They told stories about Illyria and Kale, not of kings and queens, but of two souls who loved. One girl, named Mira, loved those stories most. She had Illyria's old books. She read them at night. She dreamed of building things like Kale. One day, she found Illyria's book, The Girl the World Forgot. She read it again and again. She copied it by hand. She gave it to other girls. I want to be like her. Mira said, You are. Her mother replied, You already are. Mira grew. She planted trees. She taught others to read. She built a place for mothers to rest. She spoke softly, but her voice carried. The story of Illyria and Kale lived on, not in gold, not in statues but in actions. A boy gave his bread to a hungry girl. A woman forgave her brother. A group of children helped an old man walk. The spirit of the warrior and the princess filled the village. One day, a traveler came from a far kingdom. He wore fine clothes and had shiny boots. He laughed at the village. This place is poor, he said. Where is your palace? Where is your queen? A girl pointed to the garden. There. He frowned. That's just a bench. Another child pointed to the sky. And there. He laughed. I see no queen. A boy stepped forward. She's in us. The traveler left, confused. But the village stayed strong. Years passed. Generations grew. But the story was never forgotten. It was written on walls, told in songs, passed from grandmother to child. Not because Illyria was beautiful, not because Kale was strong, but because they were kind, because they chose love when they had every reason to choose hate, because they saw what the world missed, and because, together, they built something that no sword could break. A home, a future, a truth, that no one is too small, no one is too fat, no one is too poor, no one is forgotten. Every heart matters, and love, real love, is always enough.